you for joining me. Wherever you are, whether you're joining me live or if you're tuning in throughout the day or maybe tomorrow or in the future, I want to thank you for joining me. This is very exciting for me. I want to have full disclosure. This is my first yoga class that I am facilitating on my own. So I want to thank you all for joining me and for supporting me and for following the journey that I have been on for the last 10 years. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jen, and I am a person who wears a lot of hats, but I'm very, very excited and happy with all the things that I do. Everything that I do helps people. I try to live my life with intention. Everything I do has meaning behind it. So with that being said, I want to invite you today, if you're joining me. I do want to say, if you're joining me live, my screen is quite a bit away from me so that you can see my whole body. So if you do make a comment in the chat box, I will not be able to see it. But I just wanted to let you know that I will for sure go back and read them if you do make a comment and respond. So I just want to thank you again. I just wanted to say a little bit about yoga. I've been doing yoga since my son was born back in 2012. I used to dance. I'm a longtime dancer. I danced for over 20 years at Judith Park's Academy of Dance and Music, later known as the Academy of Dance and Music. And after I had my son, I found myself unable to dance. My body did not do what I wanted it to do anymore. And it was a very long journey of healing for me. So, my mom, bless her, she introduced me to yoga, and it was a little bit of a slow and rocky start, finding my safe place, but here I am, 8 years later, and still doing and loving yoga. So, it's just, I wanted to say it really is the journey. It's not about reaching that perfect pose. I don't want anyone in any of my classes to ever feel like, you can't do yoga because you can't do a pose that I've chosen to include in a class. Really, I want everyone to be comfortable and have fun and just do what feels good to you. So if a pose is ever suggested that it isn't in line with what you want to do, just go into child's pose or sit in an easy seat, until you're back into where you can do the pose or feel comfortable doing the pose. If you have balance issues, don't be afraid to use a wall or a chair or do the pose seated in a seat. Most poses can be modified to be done in a chair. So, do whatever feels safe and good for you. If you have one available, a block or a nice thick book might be good to have in case you want to try a pose and just need a little help getting there. Another thing that you may want to have available to you if you don't is a strap. If you do not have a strap, a belt works really well. A hairband that ties, as some people have the hairbands that tie in the back. Anything like that, a scarf, anything like that you can just use, to put behind you, to reach is good. You don't have to have all the tools of yoga. If you don't have a yoga towel or a blanket, that's fine. Any blanket will do. Even if you don't have a mat, that's fine. A towel or just the floor of your living room is going to be fine. So this class that I put together is one of the classes I put together for my yoga teacher training. It was put together specifically with dental hygienists in mind, which, if you haven't noticed, I am one and actually teach dental hygiene. The shirt I chose to wear today is all about the class of 2020. They were a very interesting and special class, and I wanted to recognize them and send off 2020 by honoring that it's the same but different, and boy, were no truer words spoken. 2020 was definitely the same in some ways, but very different from other years. So I invite you to take an easy seat. Put your hands on your legs. If you want to receive, you can put your hands palm up. If you want to ground a little bit more or release, you can put your hands, palms down on your knees. And I just want you to think about 2020. And I know for some of us, 2020 has a lot of baggage and uncomfortable feelings with it. But it's very important that we don't forget and ignore the lessons 2020 had for us. So personally, I choose to just honor what I've learned, take what works for me, be happy to leave behind the rest. So my purpose and intention for this practice is to, be grateful for what I've learned and to leave any negative feelings I have towards what happened this year behind me. You could also have an intention for this practice just to set a new tone for the incoming year. Whatever you feel is right for you, definitely choose that. I never want anyone to feel like you have to choose my intention or anything along those lines. This is all about you and your practice and what feels right and safe for you. So just go ahead and get comfortable and close your eyes. And I just want you to sit straight and just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to make a ha sound. We want to let it all out, right? We want to let 2020 out. We want it to go away. So breathe in through your nose and out. Ha! And do it again. One more time. In through the nose for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out. Ha! And now, just to begin, we're going to stretch our neck. So go ahead and take your right hand and just place it slightly to the side, and you can lean on it just a little bit. And then we're going to turn our head slightly to the right and put your other hand, your left hand, out. And you can feel the stretch in your arm and your neck. If it doesn't feel good to hold your left hand out like that, you can place it behind your back. And just breathe slowly. And feel the areas of your chest and your neck just loosen a little bit. And now go ahead and take your right hand that's been on the mat and place your hand on your head and just bring it back up to center. And now we're going to do the other side. So go ahead and take your left hand and place it down beside you. And take your head and place it down to the left. You can lean a little bit on your arm and place your right arm out. And just feel the stretch. Again, you're going to feel it in your arm, a little bit in your neck. If it doesn't feel comfortable in your arm, you can go ahead and put your arm behind you. Breathe in, slowly, steadily. And then go ahead and take your left arm, place it on the side of your head, and bring it back to center. Now we're going to come into staff pose. In staff pose, you're going to go ahead and put your legs straight out, just like this, straight out in front of you. And we're going to take what I like to call a power staff pose. We're going to place our 2 hands behind us, and we're just going to raise our chest. Keep your feet active Keep your toes engaged. You don't want to just let your feet flop. Go ahead and keep them pointed straight up. And take a deep breath. And again. And just keep engaged. Even though this is a more basic pose, we can get a lot of strength and power from just holding the position. And now we're going to go ahead, and because this class was originally geared for medical professionals who engage their wrists often, their backs often, their shoulders often, we are going to do a wrist stretch. So you can go ahead and take whichever hand you want first. You can follow me. If you're following me, you're going to do your left arm first. And you're just going to pull back with your other hand and then let it fall forward. And then pull back with your other hand and let it fall forward. And then you can hold your wrist or your forearm with your hand and just flex and relax your hand. So when you work with your hands a lot, and it's not just limited, of course, to medical professionals, but it can put a lot of strain on the joints, especially with the repetitive movement. So it's really important to exercise those areas and keep them healthy. In this class today, you're not going to find tabletop, you're not going to find downward facing dog, and that's because a lot of hygienists that I know, a lot of nurses that I know who use their hands and wrists a lot, they find that those poses at first can be a little scary and very uncomfortable and sometimes cause more harm than good. So when you're going to be doing yoga and you experience those problems, doing them minimally and then slowly working your way up to those poses is a much safer way to go. You can go ahead and do the other hand and flex and relax and flex and relax, and then hold your forearm and flex and relax on your own. And just stretch those muscles, work out those kinks. And now most medical professionals I know, or other professionals, really anybody, also on your feet all day, so go ahead and push your feet back and forth. Point and flex your feet to engage the feet, engage those muscles. You can go out to the side if that feels good for you. We can go extroverted or introverted if you feel the need. And now go ahead and roll those shoulders back first. Remembering to breathe. A big part of yoga is remembering to breathe. A lot of us, we breathe very shallowly during the day. So breathing, taking in a nice deep breath into the belly and then exhaling fully can be very, very beneficial, getting our lungs the oxygen that we need. You reverse your shoulders, rotate the other way. And now go ahead and raise your arms up to the sky. And we're gonna fall forward. Now this is one of those poses, if you can't fall forward a lot, and you'll notice that right now I cannot, don't let that be a deterrent for you. If you want to improve the stretch, you can go ahead and take that belt or strap or scarf and just place it on the balls of your feet and just use it to engage your muscles a little bit better to increase your stretch. If you don't have a strap or if you don't want to do that, you can just place your hands where you're comfortable, where you comfortably fall. For me, it's almost at my ankle right now. And just breathe into that and release. And breathe and release. And we're going to go ahead now and take, for you it'll be your left leg, and place it up towards the groin area. Keep your other leg, your right leg, straight. And we're just gonna do the same stretch, but only to one leg. So you can take your arm, put one over, and stretch. Again, if you aren't comfortable stretching that far, that's perfectly fine. You know, just go to where you're comfortable. If it's here, that's fine. If it's here, that's fine. And go ahead and stretch again. Remembering to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Or you can breathe out through your nose if that feels more comfortable. You can do some Ujjayi breathing. And when you do Ujjayi breathing, that's like, it'll almost feel like when you breathe out that it's like wind in the back of your throat. And we're gonna go ahead and switch legs. Again, go where's comfortable. If it's not comfortable to pull your foot all the way up to your groin, you can of course put it a little lower if that's better for you. And go ahead and reach and stretch, remembering to breathe through the pose, breathe through your posture. Keep your side body engaged and lengthened. And relax. And go ahead and do it again. Good. Remembering to breathe. And go ahead and relax and come back to your easy seat. Now we're going to do a seated cat-cow. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this specific course, we're not going to be doing a lot of knees or wrists. That would be very strenuous for some of us. So cat-cow engages your stomach area. And so you're going to put your hands on your knees. And first you're going to inhale and collapse your stomach in on itself, rounding the back. And exhale and bring your chest forward. And do it again. And we're going to do this about 6 or 7 times. We want to really loosen and open up the heart space area. And remember to breathe. That's great. And now we're going to go ahead and just do a seated twist, just to loosen everything up. You can go ahead and twist to the right first. So you're just going to take and put your arm on the opposite knee and then reach back with your other arm and breathe. Now this video is going to be uploaded later on, so if you're not able to stay, you know, I know New Year's can be very busy for everybody. Go ahead and do the other side. So take your right arm and put it on your left leg and reach back behind you. This video will be posted and will remain on my Facebook page. So you can come back to it at any time. It doesn't have to be for the New Year's. You can do this at any time that you want to set an intention for yourself, or just do a little gentle yoga, have a little personal me time. Remember to breathe. And now we're going to go into cow face pose. So this is one again. You're going to want to use your strap if you have it. You're going to go ahead and take your left leg And bring it over your right, and then tuck your right foot almost under your butt. And then you're going to go ahead and put your arms out to the side. Now the arm on the same side as your foot, you're going to go ahead and reach behind you, and the other arm you're going to reach up. So this is where that strap comes in. So you're going to hold it with the arm up and then grab the strap with your back arm like this to help make the connection. If you're very flexible, if you do yoga often, or if you just have more flexibility than I do right now, you might be able to reach your hands together, in which case you won't need your strap. And just go ahead and breathe into that pose. And now release the strap, but keep your legs in the pose. You're going to bring your hands out to cactus arms, and then you're going to go ahead and just bring yourself forward. Put your hands flat on the ground, and then you'll be able to feel the stretch in your hip area. If it's too intense of a stretch, don't feel like you have to do that. You can keep your hands behind you. And just breathe. Feels so good to stretch. Now we're going to go ahead and do the other side. So untwist your legs. You can bring them out to staff pose for a minute. Work out the kinks. And then you can go ahead and cross your right over your left. Bring your left foot behind you. Bring your arms out. This time you're going to bring your left arm up and down and reach back with your right. And go ahead and breathe into the stretch. You might be able to hear my little people in the background. And breathe. One thing that's very important in yoga is to be even. So if we do something on one side, we want to make sure we do it on the other side as well. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and release your strap. Even if you didn't do this on the other side, but you want to on this side, that's perfectly fine. Our sides of the body are not always even. So what might be uncomfortable on one side is perfectly comfortable on the other, and that's okay too. You can go ahead and put your arms up to cactus pose. And then reach forward and put your hands on the ground to feel that stretch in your hip. Remember to breathe. Sometimes, especially if you're alone, it can be very liberating to just give that good and let it all out. And when you're ready, you can slowly unwind back to staff pose. Release the kinks. And then I want you to stand up and come to the front of your mat. So at this point, you may need to have a block, or if you don't have a block, a thick book available to you. Again, everyone's flexibility is different, but to begin with, we're going to come to chair pose. So you're going to put your feet together, and you put your big toes together and then leave a little bit of a space where your heels are. And we're just going to bring our arms up and come into chair pose. And I know you can't quite see the tips of my fingers, but you want to keep your arms straight, keep your fingers spread and engaged. And just breathe into this pose. Feel the power that you need for this pose. If it's uncomfortable, you can always relax a little bit. You don't have to sit quite so deep into the pose. Just remember to breathe. And now we're going to take our hands down and we're going to turn. You can turn to the left first. Rest your hand on your leg. Make a ball with your right hand and then cover it with your left. And remember to breathe. And release and come back up to chair with your hands in heart position. And now you can go ahead, we're gonna go into goddess pose, warrior pose, warrior one. You're gonna step your right foot back. Keep your heel straight for warrior one. And we're just gonna lean into it. Now, if it doesn't feel comfortable, you know, you can have as much width as you want. So if it's not very comfortable, maybe you just have a little bit. If you're more flexible, maybe you spread out a little bit more to go into your warrior one pose. So you're gonna stay in warrior one and breathe. Breathing. Feel that you are that warrior. We're going to go into 2001 as a warrior. We're not going to take it sitting down, right? And now we're going to go ahead, angle our foot back, bring our left hand back, and lean in for warrior two. Feel that stretch. Try to stay balanced. If you need to adjust to keep your heels lined up, that's perfectly fine. Now keep power in your arms. If you feel your back arm starting to droop again, you know, go ahead and raise it back up. You're going to feel the stretch right here in your groin area, possibly a little bit right here. And just keep breathing. Breathe. And now if you need it, go ahead and get your block and put it by your foot, your front foot. We're going to go ahead and reach down. You can grab the block and we're going to raise your left arm back. And spread your fingers wide and look up at the ceiling if that's comfortable. If not, find a place for your neck that is comfortable for you. And breathe. And slowly and gently release. Find your way back to the front of your mat. Roll your shoulders a little bit if need be. We're going to come back into chair. So go ahead and return to chair. And just stay in chair for a moment. If you feel like you need to put your hands in heart pose, go ahead and do that. And just breathe. Now go ahead and go back into chair. We're going to twist to the other side. So we're going to twist to the right this time. So go ahead and take your left arm, place it on your thigh, make a fist, and cover it with your right hand. And breathe. And breathe. And you can go ahead and return to center. We're going to go ahead and step the left foot back this time into warrior one. Just feel the stretch. Again, if you need a little bit more of a stretch, you can extend the width of your legs a little bit more. If you need a little less of a stretch, you can have them closer together, whatever your needs are. Just put your arms up and breathe. And for one more count, one more breath. Now go ahead and turn your back foot. And go into warrior two. I'm going to turn so I don't hit the wall here. Remember, don't let the back arm to fall down. You want to keep it up and raised. If it's uncomfortable, you can put it behind your back. If it's uncomfortable to hold it there for that long. And breathe. And breathe. Now go ahead and get your block or book. And raise. This will be your right arm up. And breathe. If your legs are shaking a little, that's good. That means you're stretching. If it's a little too much, that's okay. You can go ahead and disengage and go into child's pose to rest. Knowing to listen to your body is just as important in yoga as any of the poses. And go ahead and relax. And go ahead and come to mountain. And just stand there. I want you to just stand in mountain pose and breathe. Close your eyes for a moment. Take stock of your body. What are you feeling? Have you maybe felt areas of your body that haven't been stretched in a little while? Areas that you didn't realize were sore, maybe from, not exercising over the past week during the holidays, or over-exercising for those of us who haven't had the time to do so and now find the time. And just relax for a moment. Now, from mountain pose, we're going to spread our legs wide. Keep your toes pointed straight. We're not going to turn them out. We're going to keep them pointed straight. Again, don't overstretch. We're going to come into goddess pose, but you can do goddess pose like this if you need to. You can spread out like this if you need to. And just put your hands in cactus arms. Engage your back, your chest. Keep everything straight. Keep your back straight. Keep your stomach engaged. And take several breaths. We're going to go to 5 breaths. Now, from this pose, we're going to keep our legs engaged in our triangle for goddess, but we're going to bring our arms out to the sides. And we're just going to move our arms, engage our shoulders. So first what I want you to do is you're going to bring your arms so that they cross, and you can have the left cross over the right, and then you're going to bring your hands and hold yourself in a hug, almost like in a bear hug. And hold yourself like that for a moment. Remembering to breathe, remember to inhale through your nose and exhale. And we're going to release, bring our hands back out to the sides, and cross the other way. Cross your opposite arm, so your right arm over your left this time, and go ahead and grab your shoulders again. And go ahead and bring it out. We're going to do this cycle on each side 2 more times. Remembering to breathe. And more little people talking in the background. You can go at your own pace. And last one. And now we're going to go into eagle arms. If you haven't done eagle arms or are not sure what eagle arms are, it's similar to the cross, only instead of grabbing your shoulders, you're going to twist your arms together and try to touch your fingers to the opposite fingers. Everyone's a little different. Some people can, some people are at the palms, some people aren't going to quite connect. That's okay wherever you are. And we're going to hold this breathing for 3 breaths, and then we're going to release back out to the side and twist in the other direction. And release. And the other side. And now bring your hands down once you've done your 3rd breath, down to your knees, and we're going to release. Because we've been in that pose now for a while. We want to counteract that pose that we've been in. So we're just going to come down, forward folding goddess, and put our hands flat on the mat. Round your back, bend your knees. Release the pressure and tension that you might have been holding. If it doesn't feel good to let your head hang, you can hold it straight out in front of you. If it does feel good, you can go ahead and let your head hang. And just take a couple deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can come down and find a comfortable seat. Now, to begin with, now that we're back down on the ground, I want you to just sit in Sukhasana in a comfortable seat. Put your hands up or down if you're trying to receive or release, and just take a couple deep breaths. Just feel the space, feel your body, take stock of how you feel. How do you feel? And now you can go ahead and bring yourself down. Spread your legs wide and come down into child's pose. Put your forehead right on the ground. If a wide-legged child's pose is not comfortable, you can, of course, keep your legs together.
Child's pose is an excellent pose when you want to rest. It's a great pose for connecting to the earth. And continue and stay in child's pose for a few more breaths. And when you're ready, you can come back and sit at a child's pose. We're going to go into boat pose. But we're not doing a complicated core engaging boat pose today. We're doing an easy boat pose. We're going to keep our feet on the ground. So you can keep your legs bent in front of you with your feet flat on the ground. And then we're just going to bring our arms up, lift our chests, and just hold. Inhaling, you're probably going to feel it right here in the hip area. Remember to breathe. And from boat pose, just go ahead and take your left hand, put it on your right knee, and reach behind you for a little mini twist. And breathe into that twist. And breathe out. And do the other side. As we start to wind down from this practice, think about how you're feeling. How does your body feel? And we're going to slowly make our way to our back. And we're going to make our way to our back, and you're going to put your feet so that you can just brush your ankles with your fingers. We're going to go into bridge pose. So just take a deep breath. You can take that book or block if you have one and have it be a supported bridge pose. And just slowly lift. It doesn't have to be a high lift. If you need more of a stretch, you can reach your shoulder blades and cinch them together to bring your arms more underneath you. However, if you don't feel like you need that, you can stay right on your back for a slight lift. And breathe. And we'll take 3 more breaths. And when you're ready, you can slowly release back down. And just lay there for a moment. And now if you still have that strap handy, we're going to go into Suta Pada. So lying down, you're going to bring your right leg into your torso and grab your big toe. Now, if you can't quite do that, that's where your strap comes in, or scarf or belt. And just take the strap. And you just want to pull your leg back until you feel a slight stretch. Do not overdo it. You know, we're all in different areas. Not everyone's body is the same. And just feel the stretch. And when you're ready, if you're ready, this part is completely optional. Go ahead and let that leg that's extended fall to the side with some control. You don't want to quite let it touch the ground. And hold it for 1 or 2 breaths. You might experience a little leg shakiness if you haven't done something like this in a little while. And go ahead and bring it back up. And we're going to go ahead and do it on the other side. Bring your knee into your chest. This will be your left knee this time. And go ahead and grab your big toe or use your strap. And go ahead and feel that stretch. Slowly breathing. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and extend it out to the side. And hold it for a couple breaths if you can. Remembering to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring it back in. And go ahead and bring both knees into your chest. We're going to go into Happy Baby. Happy Baby is great for relaxing. It's a good inversion. Inversions sometimes can be a little challenging. This particular inversion is one of the easier ones to manage if you have balance issues or wrist issues or back issues or neck issues. So go ahead and you can rock your baby if you feel so inclined. It's really great for massaging your back. We're going to stay here for about 5 breaths. Just slowly breathing. You can stay here a little longer if you feel like you need to. If you feel like you need more of an inversion than Happy Baby, you can go ahead and take plow pose if need be, or shoulder stand. Or if you feel like maybe those are not for you, but you still want to be inverted a little differently, you can put your legs up the wall. Legs up the wall is probably one of my favorite poses because it's very supported. And go ahead and relax slowly, slowly. Bring yourself down into corpse pose. Go ahead and get comfortable. Breathe slowly. And slowly start to close your eyes. If you need one more stretch, right in corpse pose, you can go ahead and reach back with your arms and stretch out your legs. And then slowly return your hands to your side for Savasana. Just relax your feet and your legs. Feel yourself melting into the floor. Keep your eyes closed. Feel your eyelids be heavy.
Savasana. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and roll to your left side. Slowly bring yourself back. Slowly, slowly bring yourself back up to a seated position. I would really like to thank you all for joining me, whether you were live or if you're watching this later. It's my honor to help you through your yoga journey and your practice. And I love that Facebook helps create this safe space for us to do so. So with that in mind, I would like to say that the light in me honors the light in you wherever you may be. Namaste. Thank you.